How's it going, everyone? My name's Paul. Welcome to the channel. I wanted to take a little bit of time and introduce myself, finally reveal who's been behind the camera this whole time. The simple explanation as to why I've never shown myself is because it's just easier not to. With this most recent project that I'm working on, though, something's become pretty clear, and I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about it. It does kind of relate to the channel, so don't feel like you're going to come away enlightened on anything. You might just have a little better insight into who I am as a person. If you do follow the channel, you might notice that I'm very sporadic with when I upload. Recently, I went a couple months without uploading anything. The main reasons for that is just a lack of planning and a lack of motivation. It's a lot easier to just sit around and play video games than it is to come out here and do any work, especially when it's 30 degrees outside. It's a lot easier to watch other people's videos than it is to get better being on camera or make my videos more interesting or learn new skills that would be enjoyable to watch in the first place. And the other is a lack of planning, and that's become clear with this coffee table that I'm trying to build right now. There's a video coming of that whenever I happen to finish. When I started this channel, it was a couple years ago. It was the middle of the shutdown. I was unemployed. My kids were out of school. I was a stay-at-home dad with all the time in the world. I wouldn't change anything about it. I loved it. I love spending all the time that I can with my kids, but I did end up with a lot of free time at the end of the day, and I just seemed to fill all that time with video games. I didn't feel like I was doing anything productive. At the same time, I had just reached about a year of sobriety, and I've seen the news stories or the people on podcasts or whatever who had written a book or started an organization or some company that blew up a year into their sobriety, and now they're getting their little bit of 15 minutes of fame or, if they're lucky, even longer than that. Here I was playing 4 or 5 hours of video games every night. It just felt like a waste. We were living in a small apartment at the time, so the easiest thing to try to do was fix up some old electronics. It didn't take up a whole lot of room, and it was something I could do on my kitchen countertop, hence the name Countertop Fixes. I don't fix countertops, I fix things on countertops. But since then, as you've seen, we've moved into a house. With the new house, I've got more space. I've got a garage. With the more space and the garage, I guess those go hand in hand. With all of that comes bigger projects. And that's where the lack of planning comes into play. As I'm trying to build this coffee table, it becomes a lot more clear. Before, it's a lot easier to just let a few video clips sit on the cutting room floor or end up in the recycling bin on the computer. It's a lot less noticeable. But with this, I'm left with scraps of wood if I don't finish this, if I don't figure out a way to put it together. Now, I have this tendency of when I want to build something, I get an idea in my mind, and that's what I want to build. And I'm never going to find any plans that fit that exactly, and I don't really know how to draw plans well enough, so at the best, I write a couple rough dimensions of the outside dimensions of something simple. I built a box one time. I had 2 by 3. That was it. I didn't know how I was going to build my legs. I didn't know if it was going to sit on the ground directly. I didn't know how I was going to do the lid. But I knew the size that I wanted to build. It was initially going to be a toy box for my daughter, but once I started building it, I realized that that wasn't going to happen. And now I did find a new use for that box. That's kind of where this all comes back into play, is that it's easy to get discouraged when you see other people's things come together easily. They edit out all the foibles and all the mistakes and things, and it all comes together nicely. It's a lot harder to continue on with the project and see it to its end when things aren't working out. And it's been a lot easier up until now to just let the project not finish, or to not finish the project, I guess is a better way of saying that. So I'm kind of reminded of Jordan Peterson's, one of his 12 rules for life, which is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. So this coffee table project is causing a lot of headaches. It's showing a severe lack of planning on my part. But it's coming together better than the last project, and it's actually going to end up being a coffee table in the end of the day, unlike the last thing, which ended up being something else entirely. I don't know if any of this was worth anything to anybody. I don't know if it's worth anything to me. I guess so, I made the video, but if you enjoyed it, I hope you stick around and, watch another video, see this coffee table through to the end with me or something, I don't know. Just kind of rambling at this point. I've tried about 50,000 times to plan this video out and make it, and I get about to the end and I say, okay, I've got it. And then I come out here and I sit down and I don't got it. But I guess this time I got it, or I guess I'm gonna say I got it, so I don't know. Hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you on the next one, folks.